International trade is this massive, high stakes game of global connections. And today, we're zoning in on a huge player in the sourcing and manufacturing world. We're going to unpack the challenges and, more importantly, the strategies that really define success in a market that's as big as it is complex. So, let's get right into it. Okay, first things first, let's talk scale. Just look at this number, 48.28 billion US dollars. That is what Bangladesh earned from exports in just the last fiscal year. It's a massive figure, right? It really gives you a sense of the sheer volume of business happening in just this one country.
And, well, there's a good reason that number is so huge. Bangladesh has become a top-tier destination for global buyers. I mean, they've built this incredible ecosystem on the back of their powerhouse export industries. It's a market that is absolutely humming with opportunity.
But you know how it is? With that much opportunity, there's always a catch. A market this big and this complex creates a really high-stakes problem. And it's a problem that every single business, whether you're a small startup or a giant corporation, has to figure out if they want to succeed.
And really, it all boils down to this one question, doesn't it? It's not just about finding a partner. It's about finding the right one. The partner who actually delivers on quality, who meets all the compliance standards, and who becomes a truly reliable piece of your supply chain. So, how on earth do you cut through all that noise to find that perfect match? And look, this isn't just a one-sided headache. For buyers, the risks are very real. We're talking about expensive quality disputes, failing compliance audits, and delays that can cripple your entire operation. But then, on the other side of the coin, sellers are fighting their own battle. They're struggling to even reach the people who make the decisions, and then to turn that initial conversation into an actual order. It's just a process filled with friction for everybody involved.
So if the main problem is a broken connection, then the solution has to be a smarter way to connect, right? This is where a really structured, disciplined approach can completely change the game. And what we're talking about is something called buyer-seller matchmaking. Now, let's be super clear. This isn't just random networking or, throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. No, this is a formal, focused process. It starts by understanding a buyer's exact needs and then systematically connecting them with suppliers who can genuinely deliver. It's all about cutting down on the wasted time and effort for everyone.
So, how does it work? Well, this path to a great partnership follows some really clear steps. First, you got to do a deep dive into the buyer's exact requirements. What do they really need? From there, you create a short list of potential suppliers who are then carefully vetted. Next comes the verified introductions. These are professional, moderated meetings. And finally, you get support through that really tricky negotiation and sample coordination phase. See? Every single step is designed to build trust and make things crystal clear.
Of course, a process this precise requires some serious expertise. You need guides who know the market inside and out, people who can see beyond the shiny brochure and really truly bridge that gap between what someone needs and who can provide it. So to make this less abstract, let's look at a real-world example of how this is done. Let me introduce you to Trade and Investment Bangladesh, or TNIB. This is a firm that's built its entire reputation on being that trusted partner, specializing in making these critical connections happen right there on the ground.
And that kind of trust doesn't just appear overnight. It's built on a rock-solid foundation of experience. This timeline here shows the journey of TNIB's founder, MD Joinal Abedin. We're looking at more than 18 years of experience in key roles at Bangladesh's most important trade organizations. We're talking about the FBCI, which is the country's top chamber of commerce, the SME Foundation, which champions small and medium businesses, and the Dhaka Chamber of Commerce. This isn't just a list of jobs. This is deep, institutional knowledge of how trade actually gets done in Bangladesh. And all that experience translates into a very specific and very modern skill set. This data, which is pulled from his professional profile, shows a laser focus not just on the core skill of matchmaking, but also on the things that are absolutely essential today, like website development and digital marketing. These are the tools you need to connect businesses in the modern world. And you can see the results in what their clients have to say. Take this quote from Mustafa Rahman of Canvas Inc. in Canada. He points to their strategic insight and hands-on support. Feedback like this is powerful. It's real proof that this structured approach delivers tangible, meaningful value. Okay, so what does all of this actually mean for a business? Well, it really boils down to one incredibly powerful concept: certainty.
It's about moving away from all the risk and the guesswork of international trade and towards something that's way more predictable and strategic.
And here's what that certainty actually looks like in practice. You get much faster access to qualified partners, which means you stop wasting time. Your risk goes way down because these partners have already been checked out. This naturally leads to better negotiation outcomes and, this is a big one, a much higher conversion rate from a simple inquiry to a signed order. And in the end, it's about building strong, long-term relationships, not just chasing one-off deals.
So here's the bottom line. A structured matchmaking process completely transforms your business strategy. It helps you move away from that hopeful, scattered networking approach and into a disciplined method that delivers results you can actually measure. And in a cutthroat global market, that is a massive strategic advantage.
So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. As technology and markets keep changing at lightning speed, is it possible that finding and locking in the right connection isn't just part of the game, but is, in fact, your single most valuable asset? Something to think about.